Vitals holding steady. Medic 27 to county, initiating hospital transfer. ETA 1 minute.
If you are over 60, trying to lose weight, and also concerned about your blood sugar, you may have already tried one of the most common approaches. Giving up bread, avoiding potatoes, cutting out rice, skipping breakfast, or eating a very small salad for dinner. But a few days later, you may find yourself feeling hungry, low on energy, craving something sweet, or searching the kitchen for food late at night. That does not necessarily mean you lack discipline. Sometimes, the real problem is the way the weight loss plan was designed. A plan that is too restrictive may help you lose weight for a short period of time, but it can be extremely difficult to maintain. And for someone who is managing blood sugar, suddenly changing meal portions or meal timing may not work safely with the medications they are taking. Today, we are going to look at 5 common weight loss mistakes people make after age 60. We will also discuss how to build a more realistic plate, one that can still include carbohydrates and familiar foods, while paying closer attention to portion size, protein, vegetables, beverages, and the hidden calories people often overlook, and pay special attention to mistake number 3. It often appears in a meal that looks very healthy on the surface, but it is not the whole story. Before we talk about food, we need to make one thing clear. Not everyone who is overweight has diabetes, and not everyone who has diabetes is overweight. When we discuss the connection between body weight and blood sugar in this video, we are primarily talking about type 2 diabetes. Being overweight is an important risk factor, but it is not the only one. Age, physical activity level, family history, and a history of gestational diabetes may all be associated with a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. If your mother, father, brother, or sister has diabetes, that does not mean you are guaranteed to develop the condition. It simply means you have another reason to pay attention to regular health screenings and your daily habits. Similarly, a woman who had gestational diabetes is not guaranteed to develop type 2 diabetes after pregnancy. However, that history is still an important risk factor that should be remembered and discussed with a doctor during future checkups. So, we should not blame everything on body weight, but we should not ignore weight management either, especially when someone is overweight and their blood sugar has already started to rise. According to the CDC and the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, or NIDDK, adults who are overweight or living with obesity may improve certain health markers by losing a relatively modest amount of weight, such as approximately 5% to 7% of their current body weight. This may help support improvements in blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol. That is not a promise that weight loss will solve every health problem, but it does show that moderate, realistic changes may still be worthwhile. The goal is not to lose weight as quickly as possible. The goal is to lose weight in a way that your body and your lifestyle can maintain. And the first mistake often begins when someone removes an entire food group. Mistake number 1, treating all carbohydrates like the enemy. When blood sugar is high, carbohydrates are often the first thing people blame. There is some reason for this. Your body breaks down carbohydrates from food into glucose, and that glucose can raise your blood sugar. But jumping from that fact to the conclusion that people with diabetes must eliminate all carbohydrates is going too far. Carbohydrates are found in many different types of food: soda and pastries, bread and pasta, potatoes and corn, beans, fruit, yogurt, oatmeal, whole grains. Clearly, these foods are not all nutritionally identical. They contain different amounts of fiber, come in different portion sizes, and are eaten in very different ways. A large glass of fruit juice is not the same as eating a whole apple. A bowl of sugary cereal is not the same as a serving of unsweetened oatmeal with berries and a source of protein. A large plate of French fries is not the same as a small baked potato served with fish and green vegetables. So instead of asking, do I have to eliminate carbohydrates completely? A more practical question would be, what type of carbohydrate is on my plate? How large is the portion? And what am I eating with it? For weight loss, the total amount of food and energy you consume still matters. For blood sugar management, the amount of carbohydrate, the type of carbohydrate, and how it is distributed throughout the day may also matter. This means you may not need to give up bread, rice, or potatoes forever. However, you may need to reduce the portion, choose options that contain more fiber, and avoid allowing carbohydrates to take up nearly the entire meal. For example, instead of eating a large bowl of pasta with almost nothing else, you could try reducing the amount of pasta, adding chicken, fish, or beans, adding broccoli, spinach, peppers, or a salad, and keeping the amount of sauce moderate. The NIDDK explains that carbohydrates can raise blood sugar, but people with diabetes may still use carbohydrate counting or the plate method to plan their meals. Not everyone needs the same amount of carbohydrate, especially if insulin is involved. And here is something many people overlook. You may choose a better carbohydrate, but if the meal contains almost no protein, you may still feel as though the meal was not enough. That brings us to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, cutting food intake but removing the anchor from the meal. Imagine a very common situation. A 4-year-old wants to lose weight, so breakfast changes from eggs and toast to just one banana. Lunch is a few crackers. Dinner is a small salad. On paper, the calorie intake may have gone down, but by evening that person feels hungry and tired and begins looking for potato chips, cookies, or cereal in the kitchen. The problem is not necessarily a lack of willpower. The meals may have become too small and may not contain a clear source of protein. After age 60, the goal should not be limited to making the number on the scale smaller. You also need to protect the strength that helps you. Get up from a chair, climb a flight of stairs, carry grocery bags, maintain your balance, and continue living independently. Older adults may need fewer total calories than they did when they were younger. However, they still need to pay attention to protein and other essential nutrients. For this reason, a weight loss plan based entirely on eating as little as possible may not be the right approach. Think of protein as the anchor of the meal. Protein is not a fat-burning medication. It does not automatically lower your blood sugar, but an appropriate source of protein can help make a meal feel more complete and may support the maintenance of muscle when combined with suitable physical activity. Common protein options in the United States include eggs, plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, tuna, salmon, beans, lentils, and tofu. For example, instead of eating only toast with jam for breakfast, you might have one slice of whole grain toast with eggs. Instead of eating fruit by itself, you could combine berries with plain Greek yogurt. Instead of eating only crackers for lunch, you might add tuna, turkey, or hummus, along with a serving of vegetables. Not everyone needs to reach the same protein target each day. A person with kidney disease, difficulty chewing, difficulty swallowing, or another medical condition may need an individualized plan. For that reason, this video does not recommend one fixed amount of protein for everyone. People with kidney disease, or anyone who has been instructed by a doctor to limit certain nutrients, should discuss their protein intake directly with a qualified healthcare professional. But even when a meal contains protein and vegetables, a weight loss plan may still be slowed down by something that is very easy to miss. It is usually not sitting in the center of the plate. It is poured on top. Mistake number 3, not counting what you pour, spread, or drink. A salad can be a good choice, But take a closer look at everything that comes with it. A large amount of salad dressing, cheese, bacon bits, crouton, mayonnaise, a glass of sweet tea, and perhaps a small dessert. The vegetables themselves are not the problem, but the extras can increase the total amount of energy in the meal far more than the person eating it may realize. The same thing can happen with cooking oil, butter, peanut butter, cream sauces, coffee creamer, mayonnaise, cheese, nuts, and restaurant dressings. Some of these foods can still be part of a balanced eating plan. They do not have to be completely forbidden. However, because a small serving can contain a relatively large number of calories, pouring directly from the bottle or scooping without measuring can easily cause you to consume more than you intended. This is also why a food labeled low carb does not automatically support weight loss. A meal may be low in carbohydrates but still contain a large number of calories from butter, cheese, bacon, cream, oil, and high-fat sauces. There is another source that is even easier to overlook: beverages. Soda, sweet tea, fruit drinks, flavored coffee, sports drinks, and certain fruit juices can add sugar and calories without feeling like a complete meal. For someone who is trying to lose weight, these liquid calories can make the plan more difficult to manage. For someone who is monitoring blood sugar, sugary beverages also deserve attention. The NIDDK recommends prioritizing beverages with little or no added sugar, such as water, unsweetened tea, or unsweetened coffee, depending on the individual's health needs. A simple way to begin is to avoid trying to change everything in your kitchen at once. Choose just one area. Measure your dressing instead of pouring it freely. Use less butter. Ask for sauces on the side. Replace 1 glass of soda with water. Gradually reduce the syrup in your coffee, or choose a smaller beverage size. One small change will not produce the same result for everyone, but it can help you notice something that may have previously gone unrecognized. At this point, what is the most difficult part for you? Managing bread and potatoes? Cutting back on sugary drinks? Or dealing with hunger in the evening? Leave your answer in the comments section. Your responses will help us understand which issue needs a more detailed explanation in a future video. Now, let us move to a mistake that may be especially important for people who use insulin or other blood sugar lowering medications. Mistake number 4: skipping meals or fasting without considering your medications. Many people believe that if they skip breakfast or lunch, they will automatically eat less throughout the day. That approach may work for some people, but for others, skipping meals creates a cycle. Low energy early in the day, more intense hunger in the afternoon, difficulty controlling portions at dinner, and continued snacking after dinner. Intermittent fasting can be one way of organizing meal timing for some people, but it is not a miracle, and it is not the right choice for everyone. The type of medication you take is especially important. Insulin and certain diabetes medications may cause blood sugar to fall too low when a meal is skipped or delayed. For that reason, people taking these medications should not make major changes to their meal timing or begin fasting based only on advice from an online video. It is also important to understand that not every feeling of hunger, weakness, or fatigue is automatically a sign of low blood sugar. Low blood sugar should be evaluated based on your individual condition, the medications you are taking, and, when appropriate, your blood glucose reading. A suitable eating schedule may look different from one person to another. Some people do well with 3 main meals. Some may need a small snack. Some people who use insulin may need to count carbohydrates according to their treatment plan. Others may not need to count every gram but can still use the plate method. The goal is not to force everyone to eat at exactly the same time. The goal is to prevent weight loss from becoming a risky experiment involving your medications and blood sugar. If you frequently experience shaking, sweating, dizziness, confusion, or other concerning symptoms, especially while taking diabetes medication, talk with your doctor instead of trying to tolerate the symptoms or changing your medication dose on your own. And even when meal timing is appropriate, there is another part of a weight loss plan that many people overlook: only trying to eat less without protecting your strength and daily habits. Walking is an extremely valuable activity. It is easier to begin than many other forms of exercise. It can be done with friends, and it does not necessarily require expensive equipment. But after age 60, walking should not be the only type of activity you consider. US Physical activity guidelines generally recommend that most adults work toward at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week. They also recommend muscle strengthening activities approximately 2 days per week. Older adults should also pay attention to balance and adjust their activities based on their medical conditions, mobility, and risk of falling. This does not mean that someone who has been inactive must complete all 150 minutes during the first week. The NIDDK emphasizes that some physical activity is better than none. Beginners can start slowly, divide activity into shorter sessions, and choose movements that match their physical abilities. Examples may include taking a 1-0-minute walk after a meal if your doctor says it is appropriate, practicing standing up from and sitting down in a chair with support, doing wall push-ups, exercising with a resistance band, lifting light weights, or joining a movement or balance class designed for older adults. People with heart disease, chest pain, dizziness, diabetic retinopathy, nerve damage, foot wounds, or a history of falls should ask a healthcare professional which types of exercise are appropriate for them. Weight management is also about more than food and physical activity. The CDC notes that medications, medical conditions, hormones, age, stress, environment, and sleep can all affect weight management. So when someone has been making a genuine effort, but their weight is not changing as expected, saying that they are simply not trying hard enough is often an oversimplification. Now, let us bring everything together into one tool that is easy to remember. You do not need to weigh every bite of food. You do not need to label every carbohydrate as bad. You can begin with one plate. How to build a plate that supports both weight and blood sugar management. The plate method is not the only way to eat, and it will not fit every meal perfectly. But it is a simple place to begin. Using a plate that is approximately 9 inches across. Fill half of the plate with non-starchy vegetables. Fill 1/4 with protein. Fill the remaining quarter with a carbohydrate food, preferably one that contains more fiber. The vegetable section may include leafy greens, broccoli, green beans, peppers, carrots, and cauliflower. The protein section may include chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, tofu, beans or lentils, while remembering that beans also provide carbohydrates. The carbohydrate section may include brown rice, whole grains, beans, fruit, corn, potatoes, or whole grain bread. The NIDDK describes the plate method as one way to manage portions without necessarily weighing and measuring every food. However, people who use insulin may still need to count carbohydrates according to their treatment plan. Breakfast example. You do not need to force breakfast into the exact shape of a dinner plate. You might choose eggs, a serving of oatmeal without a large amount of added sugar, berries, and water or unsweetened coffee. Or you might choose plain Greek yogurt, berries, a small amount of nuts, and 1 slice of whole grain toast. Lunch example, turkey or tuna, a large serving of salad or vegetables, a serving of beans, whole grain crackers or bread, and dressing served on the side. Dinner example, grilled chicken or salmon, broccoli or green beans, a small baked potato, or a small serving of brown rice, and a moderate amount of sauce. When eating at a restaurant, you do not have to order a salad every time you eat away from home. You can choose grilled food instead of fried food, ask for sauces and dressings on the side, choose water or unsweetened tea, order vegetables instead of some of the French fries, split a large portion in half, or save part of it for another meal. These are not absolute rules. You can still enjoy your favorite foods on certain occasions. The goal is to make health-supporting choices more often, not to turn every meal into a moral test. Your 2-4-hour plan and conclusion. You do not need to make all 5 changes tomorrow. Begin with 4 small steps. First, write down every beverage you drink during one day. Include soda, juice, sweet tea, alcohol, flavored coffee, and coffee creamer. Second, look at your first meal of the day. Does it contain a clear source of protein, or is it made up almost entirely of carbohydrates? Third, during one meal, allow vegetables to take up more space on your plate and reduce the carbohydrate portion if your current serving is too large. Fourth, measure your dressing, oil, butter, or mayonnaise one time instead of pouring or spreading it automatically. The CDC explains that gradual weight loss, often around 1 to 2 pounds per week for many adults, tends to be easier to maintain than rapid weight loss. However, an appropriate rate of weight loss can vary depending on your starting weight, medical conditions, medications, and the advice of your healthcare professional. Remember that weight management can be an important part of supporting blood sugar control, but it is not the whole story. A thin person can still develop diabetes. A person who is overweight is not guaranteed to develop diabetes. Genetics may influence your risk, but they do not determine the final outcome by themselves. A history of gestational diabetes deserves attention, but it is not a life sentence. And no single food, powder, tea, herb, or dietary supplement is guaranteed to manage diabetes by itself. The NIDDK notes that there is no clear evidence showing that one specific food, herb, spice, or supplement can replace a complete diabetes management plan. What matters most is usually what you do repeatedly, what you eat, what you drink, how large your portions are, how physically active you are, how well you sleep, and whether you follow your medication plan as instructed. You do not need to be perfect. You need a plan that is realistic enough for you to return to the next day. Let us know in the comments. What is the most difficult challenge for you right now? Managing carbohydrates? Cutting back on sugary drinks? Controlling evening hunger? Or finding enough protein for each meal? And in the next video, we will look at common breakfast foods that are often advertised as healthy, but may make weight and blood sugar management more difficult after age 60.